In this Tools in 10, we'll be talking about teaching words with consonant blends. We'll take a look at the 3 lesson pages, and then I'll demonstrate ways to introduce and practice the skill as I go through a sample lesson plan. The Consonant Blends lessons are actually an extension of the closed syllables work that we've done at the very beginning of the program. There are 3 lesson pages for Consonant Blends, and they are taught after teaching the vowel consonant E lessons in the instructional sequence. You can also see that students have been taught and are tapping the first short vowels and blends charts up to this point. Let me take a minute to give you an overview of the 3 Consonant Blends lesson pages and resources. Notice that on this first lesson page, beginning Consonant Blends, the words include all of the 2-letter consonant blends that are on the blends chart. When we teach this skill, we don't teach a separate lesson on each individual blend. Because the children have been tapping the blends chart for several weeks now, they already have the background knowledge, which makes it easier to apply the skill towards reading and spelling words. So we typically teach and work with all of the blends in one lesson. However, for students who require a bit more scaffolding, you could break up the skills into several lessons. For some of the children I work with who need the extra support, I have taught the L blends as a group, then the R blends, and then the S blends. After that, I layer on adding the suffix S to base words that have a mixture of beginning blends. In this section right above the phrases and sentences, there's an activity where the students can practice fluency with reading very similar words with a slightly different beginning sound. This allows them to train their brain to recognize that slight difference between a single consonant and a consonant blend at the beginning of words. This section could also be used to make a game of books for further word fluency practice. The next blends page focuses on ending blends. Here you have a mini tapping chart at the bottom of the page with the most common ending blends. Students can tap the strip for initial instruction of the skill and then use it if they need it as a scaffold. Some children won't need it. Again, you would typically teach all of the common ending blends together. But for students who require more support, you could break up the skills into groups like the ones listed here and do several lessons. It is important to note that the first 4 columns on the page have words with the most common ending blends as shown in the mini strip. In the 5th column here, you have words with less common ending blends and base words plus suffix S. And the final column is made up of compound words with ending blends. This section here is an activity for phrase and sentence work where children can mark and read the phrases and then match the phrases that go together. This final consonant blends lesson page is mixed consonant blends and includes words with both beginning and ending blends. This page allows children to practice with reading words that have a blend at the beginning and at the end of each word. There is also a section on compound words that has words with both blends and vowel consonant E patterns. When planning your word study and gameplay activities, there are a variety of resources to choose from. In your training companion guide, there are 2 game pages that follow each of the lesson pages. There's also a compound word matching activity and compound word cards to use to play games such as Go Fish, Memory, Tic-Tac-Toe, or Bingo. And there are 2 pages of phrases and sentences that you can use to have children mark the skill and read, or you can dictate the sentences for children to write. There are several other games, such as Uno, that you can find in the shared Google Drive if you are enrolled in the training, or on the We Shall Read website in the shop if you are not. So here is my lesson plan, and it was created for a 3rd grader in a Tier 2 or 3 instruction. So that means you can work with a small group or one-on-one with this plan. The skill is Beginning Consonant Blends on page 58, and my materials are flip cards, an Uno game, and sentences written on paper. I'm going to start with talking about how to introduce the skill in some word study activities. When I'm introducing the skill, I want to connect prior learning to the new learning. So I would tell the students that we've been working on reading words with one consonant before the vowel. Today, we're going to work with words with two consonants before the vowel. Let's take a look at some words. Let's read this word, L-A-P. I'm going to add another consonant to that word. Now let's read the new word, K-L-A-P, clap. Let's try another one, T-A-P, top. Now I'm going to add another consonant to the beginning. Now let's read this word, stop, stop. Let's take a look at these words with that extra consonant in the front. What did you notice about the two letters before the vowels on these flip cards? Did you recognize them from your blends chart? That's right. These are on your blends chart, aren't they? CL, clock, col. Let's tap them. ST, star, st. FL, flag, full. SK, skate, sk. That's right. We can blend the sounds of the two consonants together at the beginning of each of these words. Tapping our blends chart trains our brain to quickly know what letters make the sounds so that we can read and spell words with these blends easily. Now, there are a lot of blends on our blends chart. Let's write a few of them on our whiteboard. I'm going to write bull, b, ol, bull, b, ol, bull, b, ol, bull. Now you write bull. Write and say each sound, then blend the sounds together as you underline it. B, ol, bull, b, ol, bull. And let the child write the sound as they say each sound and blend it together. Let's take a look at our plan and what we have done so far. We've used flip cards to introduce the skill by adding that extra consonant. And now we're working on writing the skill. Instead of 9 times, because there are so many blends, we're going to just choose a few of those blends and write them 3 times. And I modeled how to do it first and then invited the child to continue. So you would continue dictating the rest of the blends that you have listed on your plan for the child to practice. You can also use flip cards to teach ending consonant blends, and you would just add that extra consonant to the end. So you would read fun and then add another consonant to make fund, and then read pan and add another consonant to read pant. Another way, an alternative to using flip cards, is you can use letter tiles. And you can invite the child to build CVC words such as wrap, lid, and lob, and then add another consonant. And then blend the sounds together. Trap. You can do the same for ending blends. Invite them to build some CVC words such as fun and ram, and then add a consonant to the end to make that ending blend. Fund and ramp. Now we're going to go ahead and arm tap 4 to 8 words orally. Here we're going to listen to the sounds that we hear at the beginning of the words. When we arm tap, we keep the blend together on the shoulder. Watch me. I'm going to arm tap grab. 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 What blend did you hear at the beginning of that word? Did you hear grr? Yes. Grr. Now you do it. Grr. Grab. Very good. Let's try another one. Let's try swim. What's the word? Swim. 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 What blend did you hear at the beginning? That's right. Sw. Sw is at the beginning of that word. The next part of my lesson plan is the word study, and I've chosen 2 activities. The first activity that we're going to do is we're going to mark the skill and read later. And what that means is we're going to mark the skill and then read the words later in the game. My directions say we're going to highlight and say the sounds of the blends on our Uno cards. So I'm going to show you the 2 ways that you can have students. If you want to have them read the words later in the game, you can simply have them go through and find all of the consonant blends and just say the sounds of the blends. So they can go through and highlight and say full, burr, ch, sn, and go through and do the whole page just with reading the blends. And then when they play the game, they'll be reading the words. You could also have the student highlight and read the words now. And that would look like this. They would highlight, say the sound, sp, and then read the word, blend the word together, spat, dr, drat, whip, full, flip. The second thing that I'm going to have my students do is play tic-tac-toe. This is where they get the arm tap and writing in. So to play tic-tac-toe, you're going to have your students make a tic-tac-toe board. You can play this with a small group or one-on-one. In a small group, the teacher would dictate the words, and that one student would be an X, one student would be O, and they would take turns writing the words that the teacher dictates. If you're playing one-on-one with a tutoring client, then you could take turns dictating each person a word. So I'm going to demonstrate playing as the teacher dictates words. So, okay, X's, this is your word. The first word is flip. Let's put it on our arm. Full, it, and X's would full, it, and they would put their X. Now it is O's turn. O's, your word is lob. Let's put it on our arm. What do we hear at the beginning? Full, b. Let's write it. Full, b. And they would put their O, and then you would continue playing, the teacher dictating each word until you have a winner. And that's how you get the arm tapping and writing part in. The next thing that's on my lesson plan is phrase and sentence work. And we're going to mark the skill and read. So we're going to highlight and say the sounds of the blends. And then we're going to read the sentence 3 times. The first time we read it, we're just going to read it. The second time, we're going to scoop words into phrases. And the third time, we're going to read with an emotion using our emoji cards here. So I've just taken the sentences that are on our lesson page, and I've just written them a little bit larger onto a piece of paper, and I will instruct my students to go through and let's do a seek and find. Let's find all the beginning blends, and we're going to highlight them and say the sounds. Okay, I see SL, SL, ST, st, cur, full, full, tur. Once they found all the sounds, we're going to go to the very beginning of the sentence, and now we're going to read the sentence. The first time we're going to read it once. Ben slid to a stop. Now we're going to scoop the words into phrases so that we're talking like we would normally speak. Ben slid to a stop. Now, let's turn over an emoji and read that sentence with emotion. Ooh, we're going to read it like we're surprised. Ben slid to a stop. And the student would continue reading the rest of the sentences that way 3 times, where they get that practice with reading sentences with fluency. The next thing that I have on my lesson plan is play our game. We've already marked our cards, so now we can play Uno. And you'll find directions to Uno game in the link to the shared folder. The directions are 2 pages on how to play, and there is a nice visual representation. So this is a lesson plan for teaching beginning consonant blends, but you can use the same strategies that we used when introducing the skill: flip cards, letter tiles, arm tapping, writing the consonant blends, and highlighting the sounds on a game page or a lesson page. You can do all of those same strategies for teaching the ending blends page and then also the consonant blends mixed page. Just change up the activities and the games.